Welcome back guys to another tutorial. Today we'll be talking about how to create a bottom navigation view. The app that we'll be creating is simple. We're going to have 3 fragments, one for home, one for post, and one for search. And the bottom navigation view will handle the switching between all of them. Pretty simple. Let's get started. So the first thing we'll need to do is populate our activity main layout with 2 views. The first will be a frame layout to contain every fragment that we'll want to display. We'll give it an ID of fragment container. And the second view we'll need to create is our bottom navigation view. We'll give it an ID of nav menu. Now we need to create constraints for both of them. So let's do it really quickly. Alright, I created constraints for both of the views because we're using the constraint layout as our view group, so it's mandatory. Alright? The second thing we'll need to do is create our menu to be inserted into the bottom navigation view. So let's go into our project tree, into the res folder, and create a menu folder. Alright? Menu, and we'll call it menu nav. Now that we created the menu nav file, we need to populate it with 3 items. The first one will have an ID of nav home and a title of home. Let's copy and paste it 3 times. The second will be post and the third will be search. We'll change the IDs to nav post and nav search. Alright, that's it. Now we need to add icons for each of the items, but we don't have the icons yet. So what we'll do is go to the drawable folder, right click, new, vector asset. Here we can select any icons that we want. Alright, the first will be an icon for the home item. So let's select the home. Finish, and that's it. Let's create one for the post. And the last one for the search. Okay, now that we've added all of the vector assets to our drawable directory, we need to add them to our menu nav. Right? So, icon, home, icon, add an icon, search. That's it. Now I want to save the strings because I'm going to use them in the layouts of the fragments. So let's save those. We are extracting them to the string file in the values directory. Right. Now we'll go back to activity main layout to the bottom navigation view, and we'll add an attribute of menu, and we'll give it the menu that we've created. Alright, that's it for now. Now the next thing we'll need to do is create 3 fragments for each of the items in the bottom navigation view. So let's do it really quickly. The first I'll call home fragment, and it will extend the fragment class. The second will be post fragment, and it will also extend the fragment class. And the third and last one will be search fragment, and it will also extend the fragment class. Now, for our use case, there is only one method that we'll need to override in each of those classes, and this one is the onCreateView method, which returns a view, which is an inflated layout that we're going to create now. So return layout inflator from getActivity.inflate r.layout fragment search container and false. Now, for those of you who doesn't know what I'm doing right now, I suggest that you will go back to one of my previous tutorials about how to create fragments in Android. It's really simple and cool, and it will help you to understand what I'm doing right now. So if you don't know what I'm doing right now, please stop the video right now, go back and watch my video, and come back and continue on. Okay, now I'll just copy and paste this method to the post fragment class and to the home fragment class, right? And I'll change the names of the layout, fragment home in the post fragment to fragment post, and I'll create them again for the fragment search, and last one for the fragment home. Alright, let me just get rid of unnecessary classes real quick. Okay, now I'm simply going to place a text view in the center of the fragment with the name of the item that has been clicked, so the user will know where he is currently at. So text home. As you can see, this is why we extract the home string to the string resource file, because now if we'll decide to change the home string from capital home, we can simply do it from the string resource, and it will affect both the item and the text view here. So let's center it. And let's just give it a text size of 25 sp, so it will be a bit larger. Let's just copy and paste the entire layout. Alright, that's it for the layout. Let's go back to the main activity and implement our logic on the bottom navigation view. The first thing we'll have to do is create an instance pointing at the view in our activity main layout. So bottom navigation view, nav menu, find view by RD, nav menu. Now we'll have to create a listener that listens for selection on the items. Alright? So what we'll have to do in this method is implement our logic for checking what fragment the user wants to see and display it for him. So let's create our fragment. Let's call it selected fragment. And now we'll use the switch case method to figure out what's the ID of the clicked item by using the menu item parameter that was given. Android can assure us by this annotation that the menu item won't be null, so we don't have to check if the menu item is null. So let's just use switch case to figure out what item was clicked. Alright, so the first one will be for the home, the second one will be for the post, and the third one will be for the search. That's it. We'll give it a default of return false in cases something went wrong. For you guys to understand, the boolean that we're returning in this method decides whether to show the user that the item that he was clicking got selected. If we return false, the item won't get selected. If we return true, the item will appear to be selected. Alright, so now what we'll do is use the getSupportFragmentManager method, begin the transaction, replace the current fragment. We'll give it the ID of the fragment container, which is the frame layout that we created, and the instance of the selected fragment. And finally, we'll call commit method. Now, as you can see, we are getting an error, and that's because we haven't initialized the selected fragment variable anywhere in the code. So let's do it. If the user selected the nav home, what we'll do is initialize it to a new home fragment. I have an error here, so let's just change it. That's it. If the user selected the post, let's initialize it to the post fragment. And finally, if he selected the search fragment, let's initialize it to the search fragment. And that's it. Alright, so right now, by default, when the app is first launched, there's nothing being displayed because we haven't populated the fragment container with any fragment. So what we'll do is a nice little trick. We'll use the set selected item ID, and we'll give it the ID of the home tab. And what it will do is call the onNavigation item selected with the menu item of the nav home, and the home fragment will get launched. This step is crucial to be after that we set the listener, because if we call this method here before we set the listener, it won't get called, right? That's it. I remember that I forgot one last thing, and it is to add a background color for each of our fragments layout. So let's add a background color of red, a background color of blue, and a background color of green. Let's launch our app and see what happens. Okay, as you can see, we're seeing the bottom navigation view, and the fragment that is being displayed right now is the home fragment, as we set in the set selected item ID. Let's try to click the post and the search. As you can see, everything works well. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a big thumbs up and a comment if you liked it. Also subscribe, and I'll see you next time.